Hello, beautiful. Welcome back to Nat's Beautiful Life and day 8 of the 12 days of Christmas. I am working very hard to get all the 5 videos that we need to finish up December done this week, so fingers crossed. Today we are going to be talking about some of my favorite books of 2021. So don't think that these are all like the very best 5-star books ever. These are just some that are my favorites of the year. I have about, I don't know how many I have, and then I have a couple of honorable mentions. But anyway, if you're new to this channel, hello, my name is Natasha. I do videos on books, bullet journaling, art journaling, media, whatever I want to do a video about, and I would love to see you again. So be sure you are subscribed, and if you like to get notified whenever someone uploads a video, click that little notification bell. Alright, so without any further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so the first book I have here, and they're not in any order, was Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. This book was a surprise to me, and also it's a book that I haven't read anything like it in a while. So this is a book that takes place, I think, kind of Western times, and it's a mountain town. They're isolated. They have to leave to go and get supplies that they can't grow on their own. When they do this, they have the party goes missing. One of the horses comes back ripped to shreds. I mean, this is the first chapter, and they figure out that the monsters in the woods that they heard about many years ago were there are back. And this is kind of like a fae story as well, but it goes through all the different seasons. We do have a main character, but it's just a creep fest, and also very interesting, and I really enjoyed this. So this is definitely one of my favorites of the year. What do I do with these books when I'm done with them? I'll just stick them over here. Alright, the next is Blue Highways by William Lee Moon. This is a nonfiction. This is late 70s, early 80s. Our author gets in a van and drives literally around the U.S., stopping when he sees interesting things or people along the way and taking photos, getting their stories, and a really great time. So if you like those type of things, then or like people stories and just Americana type things, back in, you know, more 70s, 80s times where it was safe to hitchhike and all of that stuff, even though it wasn't safe to hitchhike. People did it more, you know what I'm saying? This is a good book. I really enjoyed that one. The next one is Legend Born by Tracy Deonn. This is one of my absolute favorites of the year. I think I gave it 4 or 5 stars, so it is one of those ones that I do recommend go out and get. We'll have a sequel hopefully in 2022. This is a girl who goes to an early college program, and when she's there, she runs into a strange person and also sees something that he realizes she should not be able to see. So he figures there's something different about her. It turns out there is. It's a wild ride, and there's so much more to it than meets the eye and what's on the back cover. So go into this one with expecting great things, because you'll get them, and a surprise. Alright, next one I've got here is Damnation Spring by Ash Davidson. This is a historical fiction as it takes place in the 70s in a timber town, and we have a gentleman who purchases a tract of land that you can't get to, really, but it has like one of those giant trees, and he doesn't tell his wife. And then on the other side we have his wife, who is the kind of town midwife, and she's noticing a lot of birth defects and things like that that are you know, happening with the women in the area, and stillbirths and things like that. And the company that the timber, all the people work for, have been spraying chemicals, pesticides, things like that, and they're telling everyone that they are safe, but she's kind of got concerns. So there's a little bit of that in there, plus you will really root for these characters, and it will wreck you at the end, like literally mess you up. So that was definitely a surprise that it was so good. All right, next one is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. This is one that has been very polarizing on YouTube this year. People either love it or they hate it. And most of the time I've seen they kind of hated it. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's very daily paced. In other words, you go through every day, every hour kind of a thing. It's not quite that, 24 kind of a thing, but it's, you are following along with her as she kind of goes through with these people to find whatever it is they're looking for. I don't want to give it away, but they're on a planet to begin with, her and her team. This is a time when the human race not only lives on Earth, but they also live in different planets, different solar systems, galaxies, things like that. They have perfected jump driving and all of that stuff. And she's exploring another planet, and human race has never run into any aliens, so to speak. They have seen evidence through artifacts, but they've never actually seen any. Well, while on this planet, she finds something, and she actually wakes up something, and it brings the aliens to the humans, and then so much more happens. There's a found family in here. The spaceship that she winds up on is an awesome crew, and they all kind of look out for each other. There's an artificially intelligent, what do you call that thing? Spaceship and all of that. So I really enjoyed this. It is a long read because it's thin pages, small writing, but it was just one of those books that I enjoyed just sitting down and reading. I didn't even care when it ended. I just enjoyed the read for this one. So I do recommend that one, especially if you're a sci-fi fan. The next one is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I recently read this for our book club for December, and I've never read it before. And I have got a whole review and everything on my channel. I'll link it down below and in the cards. But I really enjoyed this. The writing is pretty easy to read. Even though it's a classic, it's easy to read and it's easy to follow, and it's funny and all of that. So I won't talk about it too much because like I said, I have a whole video dedicated to it, but I highly recommend this. An incredibly good read, and I will probably be reading it again next December. All right, so I have some written down that I don't own right over here. One is The Exiles by Christina Baker Klein. This was a surprise read that was so good. It was one of our book club books of the month for this year. And we have our main character who is a governess, and she falls in love with the older son of this rich family. And while he's away, his mother kind of accuses her of stealing. She gets put into prison, and then from there, and we're talking about England in the 1800s, and conditions were not good. And so she was also put on a ship and transported something via ship to Australia. And it's a lot about not only the personal struggles of the individual characters, which you do root for, you do love them, but also just learning about those type of things. So it was a surprise that it was so good, because I'd never heard of it. It was really good. The next one is Lord, the One You Love is Sick by Casey Thornton. This is a novel told in short stories. So everybody is a main character in their short story portion of this book. It is it starts out with a police officer and his wife. He comes home and she's telling him that his best friend has died. He died of an overdose. And then they go over, they meet or see his mother, and all of that, and the whole town is there. And then the story moves on from there, but as you move through the story, you are following different characters. And it's very impactful. It's a short book, but it's packs a punch. It's really good. I highly recommend it. And then I have a couple of I would say honorable mentions, but one is kind of, again, a surprise. I'd been seeing this book here and there this year. I think it came out this year. I saw it in Barnes & Noble when it came out, and then I've been seeing it in different bookstores and at the library and stuff, and I was like, you know what, this kind of sounds like my jam. However, me and this author have a interesting relationship, as in she wrote a series, a trilogy. You're gonna know what I'm talking about. The first 2 books were amazing, and the 3rd book, it was like, it should have been 2 books, and it was like she didn't even write it. She just told someone else what she was gonna do, and they shoved it together. And that's Veronica Roth. And that series was Divergent. So the book that I'm talking about is Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. So this is a book, you know what? I kind of want to continue it, but I kind of feel like I don't need to if there are more books. It says it's the Chosen Ones, book 1. I don't feel like I would need to. I feel like if you read this book, you could be satisfied with it. But I kind of think I might continue with it with one more of the books, just to see how it goes, and then from there, you know, go from there. But I really enjoyed it. So basically the premise is you had the Chosen Ones and you had a dark one. The Chosen Ones were like 5 of them or something. Oh my word, it kind of reminds me a lot of the Wheel of Time, how there's 5 of them, but you don't know which one it is. So they just kind of put them all together. Same. So there's 5 of them, and one of them is just the Chosen One. But they don't know who it is, so they just train all 5 of them. They defeat the Dark One, and then they go about their lives, and this is 10 years later. So 10 years later, we find they're at the anniversary of the Dark One's demise or whatever, and things ensue. So it's like kind of like telling a little snippets about their lives since they defeated the Dark One as like teenagers, and then also what's happening to them now, and like the trauma and the PTSD from all of the things that happened, how they've kind of affected them. It was a good book. I really enjoyed it, and I flew through it, which is a good sign, because when I really love a book, I fly through it. Really liked it. So we grab these other 2. Alright, so I say this is an honorable mention because I haven't finished it yet, but I've been chugging away at it because it's a beast of a book. And that's The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. Again, thin, small words, thin pages. This is, of course, the Penguin cloth bound edition. I don't know that I will get these and read too many of them. I think I will get them as like collectors, because as I've been reading this, the stuff's been coming off. So anyway, so this is The Woman in White. The main story starts out, we have what is he? He's an art teacher or something, and he's gotten a job where he's going to go teach art to these children in a different place anyway. But he's walking on the road to London in the middle of the night, and this woman in white just shows up and scares the crap out of him, and she walks with him to London, and she's like, just tell nobody that you saw me, just remember no matter what. And it kind of goes from there. This story is told through the eyes of the people in it, the characters. So it starts out with this man, I think his name is Henry, telling his part of the story, and then it switches to like the lawyer telling his part of the story, and the story continues along. But the big chunk of this is there's 2 sisters that was supposed to be the teacher of. They yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Like, I don't want to give it away, but she has to marry this one. The younger one has to marry this man. The older one basically is seeing it, and the woman in white is all throughout all of this, like her situation, her story, and all of this stuff. Anyway, so a big chunk of this is the diary entries of the older sister, and this is good. Every time I pick it up, I'm just like, it never stops. It just keeps going. There's some creepy people in here. There's some bad people in here, but yeah, it's incredibly good. So I do recommend that. It's been a favorite of mine to read. I'm certainly not going to finish it this year unless I like just sit there and read for the rest of the week. But yeah, that's when I've absolutely just kind of fallen in love with this year. And the other honorable mention, and I say it's an honorable mention because I knew I was gonna like it, Also, it made me excited for another series that I believe she's gonna write, and that's gonna be The Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. The cool thing about this one, if you know anything about the Grishaverse, everybody's in this one. So the whole cast of characters is mentioned. We leave on a bit of a cliffhanger. It's not a cliffhanger where like this story has concluded. However, there's the start of a new story, something else they want to do. And I feel like we're gonna go and spend some time in Kirch with those people, and that's my favorite group of people in this universe. So definitely enjoyed this much better than King of Scars, even though I did like it. I didn't hate it as much as everybody else did at times. Like, people either loved it or hated it again, but again, I understand why they didn't like it, because there was a part where I'm like, she's jumping the shark here, but then she kind of redeemed herself. But anyway, I really liked this one, and I'm looking forward to the next series. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again probably tomorrow with day 9 of the 12 Days of Christmas. Have a great day, gorgeous.